Self-de-armouring is a fundamental piece in Kundalini bodywork, and our pelvic floor is very important. In this video, we go over some key points, but solely focused on the pelvic floor. The 5 types of shaking are indirectly teaching us to work with our pelvic floor, and this is one good way of starting to de-armour the pelvis, by encouraging energy to flow through the pelvic floor as the muscles separate and work independently of the abdominal muscles, as in antidote to Mala Bandha. The different shaking techniques are shaking in neutral, shaking in the masculine, opening the hips, pelvic thrusts, shaking in the feminine, which is often more like a wave flowing through the body, and if you want to, Osho Kundalini shaking. The 3 major emotional release tools can also help here. Breath, sound, and movement support us in de-armouring, and in the shaking practices we use several different breaths with sound, while exploring tension and relaxation in the pelvic floor. These activities practiced together immediately support our root chakra energy center to open up, giving us the energy to de-armour with and actually start de-armouring our body, while preparing our parasympathetic nervous system, stomach, fascia, glands and organs for deeper de-armouring work. When breathing to our perineum, it's helpful to imagine or pretend that we have 3 diaphragms instead of just 1. This allows us to breathe right out of our perineum, down into our root and out of our body, and then to feel as if we are breathing back up in this way too. Breathing in through our perineum, our root. Just simply imagine that where your diaphragm stops and cannot push out or pull in any more air or oxygen, that your lower stomach muscles act as an extension of this. So pulling the diaphragm further down, stretching it. And then when this runs out, just do the same with your pelvic floor muscles. This is actually how our diaphragm works and how deep belly breathing out through our root, becomes possible. The pump in the pelvic floor in Taoist teachings is one of 3 pumps that we can learn to use to bring qi to the brain and circulate it there, either before sending it back around down the front of our body through the microcosmic orbit, either down the feminine channel or occasionally in reverse and down the masculine channel or out through the crown. Using this qi to strengthen our energetic and etheric body. The other 2 pumps are one in the back of the heart and one in the back of the skull. But for now, let's just focus on the pelvic floor. After doing all of these activation exercises, we can then start to de-armour the pelvic floor as we do the rest of the body, described in the de-armouring videos and guided practice sessions. We are all very different, and we have all created and put trauma into different parts of our body, so there is no correct routine to follow. Each person is unique. Some people need to de-armour the heart and chest more before they can gain internal control of their pelvic floor. For others, it might be through the psoas muscle, or even the yoni or lingam. But at some point, we will all be able to gain more control of our pelvic floor muscles and to learn to relax them better, bringing in more energy into the body. For women, cleansing and energetically de-armouring the womb is also a very important practice worth mentioning, but beyond the scope of this course. And as I've said many times, when we de-armour emotionally, don't forget to work out and strengthen physically later that day or definitely the next.